Now the next thing is we have to save the chat for recents. First of all, we need a model class for the recent chats. So right click on models, new .file. We will give it name as chat. Class chat. Please use the same variable name, because by same key names we will save the data inside the database. This start from user ID and then for the other one, to user ID last message, to user name, to user email, and to user image. Then we can say map string dynamic to map string dynamic map chat first we have from user ID, so the key name will be from user ID, the value which is inside from user ID. Similarly for the other ones. Okay, to user ID last message, username, email, and image, and then we will return the map chat. So now on our messages widget, final chat from data. So you know that to this we will pass the parameters, which is these parameters which we are receiving here. Okay, so from user ID, next one we have to user ID, then of course the message text which we can get from our this message. Okay, so you can say message dot text dot trim to which user, so to user data dot name to user data dot email dot image, name, email, image, name, email, image. So now we have the recent chat information, so we can save it to the database. So we can say save recent chat to database. The same thing, this is for the sender. Okay, the same thing we will do for the receiver, and this will be chat to, and as it is chat to, so we will say to user ID, from user ID the message text, and this is from user data name, from user data email, from user data dot image. Now to this method we will pass some parameter. So for the sender we will pass the chat from data, and then of course the message text. Similarly for the receiver it will be chat to data and the message text. So now we have to implement this method above the widget build. So the first one we have is the chat, that is chat to, or it will be chat from, and then of course the message text, and the type for this is chat model class. We have to make sure. So we can create a reference to the database. So for the recent chats we will create main collection chats, chat dot from user ID dot collection. The collection will be last message. So under the main chats collection we will have a sub collection last message. As you know that in the recent chat we display the last message which the user sent, and then we can say .doc, and here we will provide the to user ID. Dot set chat, which contains the last recent chat information. So you can say chat to map dot then that is when the recent chat is saved in the database, then we will send the push notification. Of course that is something that we will implement. So this is all about our save recent chat to database. Now is the time to test the application and see this sending message feature, and of course the recent chats. So the app is running now, and now let's go to the contacts. Let's send message to John Jones. Hello, how are you? So now if we send the message, you can see it removed the previous message from the text box. So the message is sent successfully. So according to the code which we implemented, first, as you know, when the user press the button, which is this button, we send a message. So first the message is saved for the sender to the database, okay, and then also for the sender it sent the recent chat, okay, it saved the recent chat as well in the database. Similarly for the receiver, first it saved the message to the database, and then for the receiver it saved the recent chat to database. So for the sender it saved the message and chat, the recent chat, or you can say last message, to the database. It is saved, and then for the receiver we save the message and the recent chat, or you can say the last message, we save to the database. For the save message, as you know, as I told you guys, we have a messages main collection. Under that we have, under the messages main collection, first, as you know, from sender to receiver, from sender to receiver. So from sender to receiver, then the message ID, then the message ID, and then that message data, that whole message data which contains the UID, text of that message, and the date time. As you know that first we save message for sender, okay, and then the next thing was save recent chat, or you can say the last message, okay. So save recent chat to database. So if I show you, so for the last chat, it is chats main collection from user, which simply means from sender last message to the receiver, from sender last message to the receiver, okay. So from sender last message to the receiver was this one, hello, how are you. After that, when we did it for the sender, the next thing was basically to save message for the receiver. So then we save message for the receiver, that is, here we receive, inside this variable we are receiving to user ID, then inside this variable we are receiving from user ID. So it simply means that when we are saving it for the receiver, the to user ID is coming inside this variable. Okay, so it means as we are saving it for the receiver, so the receiver ID, the sender ID, and then message ID, and then that message we save. Let me show it to you. So the receiver ID, which is this one, then the sender ID, then the message ID, and then that message. After that we have the last message, or you can say the recent chat. So we have to save it for the receiver, so chat 2. So chat 2 contains that information, the last message information, and then the text of that message. So that is receiving here. Okay, so inside the chats man collection, the receiver ID we have, then the last message, then the sender ID, and then that last, or you can say recent chat information. So the receiver ID, last message, sender ID, and then of course that information, as we are saving it for the receiver, as you can see. And one thing you have to notice here is that for the last message, now when the user send another message, then the previous last message will be updated with the new one. As you know that it is for the recent chats, for the recent chat tab we will display. So the recent chat simply means the last message sent will be our you can say recent chat. So for example, now if I send another message, last night, let's say I saw you cycling. So if I send this message now, then this message will be updated with the one which was already there, okay, in the last message. Okay, this is for the chats, for the recent chats, you see that. Similarly, if I show you here, then you can see that the last message is updated with last night I saw you cycling. Okay, so this chats you already know, this is for the recent chats. Okay, where we are updating, you can say, the last chat or the recent chat. And this is our messages, where we save all the messages for sender and for the receiver. Okay, this was for the sender. You know, we have 2 messages, and then this one is for the receiver. So the receiver also receive 2 messages currently, as we have sent only 2 messages. Of course, now you can send as many as you want. The next thing is to retrieve and display these messages here in our app.